Okay, no more visiting telecast or wirecast rather. It was such a dumb ass thing, man. I don't know, the settings sometimes change all by themselves. And what happens, I went to Wirecast. Well, I called up first because I'm going to upgrade to a different Wirecast. But the Wirecast I have, and I looked at it and the serial number, it wasn't there. That was the problem. So I had to re-enter the serial number and everything is fine now. Man, it gets me crazy. Let's talk about your video because it's just you and I right now. And I never seen something like that with slow motion. And it came out good. If you're going to do more videos for me, which you should, give me a frontal view. Because I kind of had the side view of that left hand. And the left hand, when you let the stick come back, you use too much arm. Stacy, how are you? We had a little technical issue this afternoon, so this is going to be a pretty long lesson. And I am going to make in a few days a video explaining 4/4 time and cut time the correct way. Now, you take Ed, he's been playing just about as long as I have. And he also interpreted cut time the way I presented it the first time. And it's not wrong. What I should have said was double time. All right, we're back, we're better now. But it's going to be a longer lesson. Hello, Dennis. Again, I'm going to make that video. Paul, how are you? Your video came out really good. You had a couple of mistakes. Yeah, versus double time. See, that was incorrect. What I should have said, double time, I deleted the video. I was embarrassed. And everybody that I know so far has interpreted cut time as 2/4 time, which is not. Cut time is 2/2 time, which means alla breve. Divide 4/4 by 2, you get 2/2. But we're going to go over that when I make the video. Okay, now, we're going to work from the workbook today. Remember that guy? This guy right here? Remember this? The workbook. You might have a different colored jacket. Oh, come on. But we're going to work from the workbook. And I'm going to do it really slow. And we're going to start from the beginning. Well, I will. I'll give you feedback, Paul. But let's go to the lesson. There's like 5 or 6 of you here, so let's start the lesson. Okay. Well, all right, let me address that real quick for you. For example, the paradiddle fill-in. What you want to do is do it one measure like that first, then do it another measure, the second measure. Then play it against the jazz time. But you did real good. Old dog, you look good except for that one left hand. You know, when you're doing the full stroke, it's coming from the wrist. What you do, I let the stick rebound. A lot of guys will hold the stick like this. If you held it like this, the stick comes automatically back. So what I do, when you're doing the full stroke, I'm not taking it up from the arm like that. Where did it go? I'm not taking it from the arm. I start from here, it's about 18 inches from the tip of my stick to the drum, and I just make contact, and when it comes back, I bring it back with the wrist only. We're going to fix it, Paul, but you sound really good. You're on the right road. Okay, so let's start with number 1. The workbook. Now, I'm working all day long besides Wirecast, on my new publication, Syncopation Formulas. And what I've done with that is I gave an in-depth view of a measure in 4/4 and two measures of 2/2, cut time, okay? There's about 20 pages of that. The next stage, the difference between straight up and down and swung. And then we're going to go through some variables on that. Okay, so now, let's do an ostinato pattern number 1. Now, you look at number 1. These are all from the Shafee book. I just wrote them out. And a lot of people, when they're playing eighth notes on the hi-hat, hold on. Every day there's problems with this thing. I need a new felt washer, I guess. I don't know. Hold on. Well, what we're going to do, come on, clutch. Be nice. Make it nice and tight and pretty. And that's one thing I'd like to also, while we're doing that with the hi-hat, are you using the heel and toe method? Because you're not getting a real tight chick. Paul, heel, toe. You got to put that in there. Okay, ostinato number 1, it's a simple money beat is what I refer to it as. And like I said, I watch a lot of videos in the Art of Drumming group and all the other groups. Guys put their videos on. Some sound so nice and some are really great drummers. But I get these guys in here, they're playing a rock pattern like this. It's not incorrect, but it sounds like shit. So you want to make it musical. You want to give me this. You're pushing the 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're giving me 1 and 2 and 3 and a nice musical sound. Now I'm exaggerating the motion there, but I'm also, what I would like you to do is count a 16th note count. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. And if you do it like that, you're going to get the feel for the whole number 1, 2, whatever. Now, I'm playing this constant, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E, and I'm going to drop 2 and 4, the backbeat. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E. That's the money beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a reason for counting the 16ths, all right? Hey Seth, how are you? Okay, we're working with the workbook. Now, number 1, your bass drum is going to fall on 1 and 3. This is going to remain the same, constant. Okay? Now, there's a reason why I'd like you to count the 16th note count, because you're going to stretch that bass drum out. It's going to fall on the E, the and, the E and so on and so forth. So that gives you a little bit of time to feel it. Do it slow. And do 1 100,000 times. Go to 2, do that another 200,000 times. The more you do something, the more familiar you come with it, the better you're going to sound. You're going to adjust your voices, and you're going to feel the groove. And that's not a groove, but the pattern. Okay? And I don't believe in the muscle memory thing. I just don't believe in that. Who we got here? Joseph. Hey, how you doing? First time here? Okay, let's hit number 1. We're going to play in 2 and 4. We're playing the top. This is the ostinato. 3, 4. 1, 2. But I'm counting 16th notes. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 1 E and 2. Now I'm going to plow my bass drum on 1 and 3. Now, the reason why you want to do them over and over again is to make the adjustment of your voices. Constant with the hi-hat, constant with the snare, and plow that bass drum. That's the solo, not the solo voice, but the dominant voice. 1, 2, 3 E and 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. 1 E and 2, 3 E and 4. Very simple pattern. Okay, now, What I like to do is stretch out a little bit. Instead of just playing it one-sided right hand, I'm playing left-handed. 3, 4, 1 E and the 2. Open-handed, so to speak. 1 E and the 2 and 3 E and the 4. Back. 1 E and the 2. 3, 4, 1 E and the 2. Now you see what we got there going on? How you doing, Robert? Hello, Joseph. Joseph, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, who you are, how long you've been playing, what kind of music you like. Okay, so you understand number one, right-handed and left-handed. I'm going to go through these only right-handed, but you should go 1, 2, 3, 4. That strengthens, believe it or not, this side. 3, 4. Now, if I played it like, don't sound very musical. So you want to get that downstroke and upstroke. Boom. Remember the strong voice, the bass drum. 1 and 2. But count 16ths. 1 E and the 2. 3 E and the 4. All right, now we'll go directly to number 2. And it's permutated. Permutation means to move over one. So the first one, I played, hold on a second, guys. I played the bass drum on the counts of 1 and 3. It's just a money beat. You know that, you go make some money. Go get a cover tune band or whatever. Now the second one, the bass drum shifts, instead of the 1 and 3 this time, it's on the E of 1 and the E of 3. This is why I like you to count the 16ths, so you can control and equalize the space between the count. 1 E and the 2 E and 3 E and the 4 E and. Notice how that bass drum was dominant. 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and the 4 and. Okay? So now we have the 1 and 3. Now the E of 1, the E of 3. We're going to move it over one now, permutate. Instead of the E of 1 and the E of 3, it's going to be on the and of 1 and the and of 3. We're working out of the workbook, the first ostinato pattern, Robert. All right, so now we go to number 3. The bass drum falls now on the and of 1 and of 3. Okay? Again, we permutated the note from the E of 1 and the E of 3 to the and of 1 to the and of 3. Nice and easy. 1 E and the 2 E and 3 E and the 4 E and 1 E and the 2 E and 3 E and the 4 E and 1 E and the 2 E and 3 E and 4. I'm looking at the computer. My fault. 1 E and the 2 E and 3 E and the 4 and. You're from Spain. That's nice of you, Stacy. Spain. I got a few other guys from Spain as well. Why don't you, Stacy, can you put my email in there, mattpatella1001@gmail.com. And Joseph, if you want to get on the mailing list, you email me, I'll put you on. And what happens with that is you'll get a notification of the week's agenda and location. And if PDFs if you need it. All right, so now that we're on line 3, I'm sorry to talk so much. I mean, if I had somebody else, like an AV guy, he would be answering all that. All right, number 3, 1 E and the 2 E and 3 E and the 4 E and 1 E and the 2. Now, it's very robotish, I guess you could say. I'm a robot, or it looks stiff, but I'm not. I'm emphasizing the movement, the motion. When I'm playing here, it's not as exaggerated. It's pop, pop. Okay? Now, That takes the 1 and 3, the E of 1, the E of 3, the and of 1, and the and of 3. Now we're going to go to the duh of 1 and the duh of 3. Thank you, Stacy. What do you mean I should fire? All right, you retracted that. You're not interrupting the lesson. Hiya, Seth. Okay, now we did the duh. 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and 4 and. Now you work with the first 4. Work them slow, right-handed and left-handed. And, don't jump from 1 to 2 yet. Just do 1 as many times as you like. Do 2 as you feel comfortable. Do it as many times as you want until you feel comfortable. The same thing with 3 and 4. Now, once you get comfortable, you play line 1, go to line 2, 3, 4. It's a basic rock pattern. I don't have a secretary, I don't have an AV guy, but I will eventually. Okay, do we all understand it? We're on page 1, the first one, Robert. Ostinato number 1. So once you feel good with each one, 1 through 4, then play 1, 2, 3, 4, and back, over and over again. Now, let's go to number 5. Now, here's the big reason why I wanted you to count the 16th note count. I'm going to do this one slow. Number 5, the bass drum is on 1 E and 3 E. Okay, so now nice and slow. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and 1 E and the 2 E and 3 E and the 4 E and. Little up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5. Okay. Hello, Troy. Well, the reason why I'm counting 16th notes is to clean it up, to make, it gives you an option here. If you know how to play these already, you don't have to count the 16th notes. The 16th notes gives you that equalized sound. Example, line 1. I can count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's easy. Now I say you go to line 2, you're going to use the bass drum on the E and the E of 1 and the E of 3, and they got 1. It doesn't give you that much control yet. Don't forget, Robert, we have drummers of all levels. Okay? So I'm starting not on ground zero, but the way to approach is the way to enter it. If you're above that, and you feel comfortable, 1, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, do that. Okay? That's not a problem. That's almost the finished product. But I'm trying to explain it. Once you get 1 E and, I got my downstroke and my upstroke and the bass drum in there, clean. 1 E and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and. You understand that now, Robert? Okay, so now we got number 5. Number 6, the bass drum now is on 1 and 3 and. 1 E and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 and 3 E and 4 and. Okay, number 7, the bass drum falls on 1 and the duh of 1. It falls on 3 and the duh of 3. Nice and easy. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 and 1. 3 E and 4 and. Number 8. Any questions so far? Any questions? Troy, any questions? Joseph, any questions? I like that name. Seth? Stacy? Who else we got here? Oh, come on, I get the wrong mouse. Paul, any questions? Old dog. Okay. Hola, Matt. How you doing, Marcio? Marcio, listen, I don't mind you coming to the lessons, but now, for you to get full advantage of the lessons, you're going to have to purchase either the workbook or the stick control formulas. Okay, your choice. One in the PDF format because you live in Mexico, I guess, right? Is that where you live? And what you have to do is go to my PayPal, either put $15 will get you the workbook, PDFs. $20 will get you the PDF stick control book formulas. So you need to do that. Dennis. You guys are going to laugh about this afternoon. We kept getting that Wirecast on the screen. It never happened to me before. And then I found out that YouTube is upgrading their system and whatever. I don't know what happened, but the reason why that was happening was because for some reason or other, my Wirecast did not have its serial number in it. So it was projecting as a demo. Now that never happened before. And it's just because, you know, if somebody else does something that's related to this, another company does something to their upgrading or whatever to the system, it affects me. All right, so I had to put my serial number in, and now we're good. All right, no questions. Good for Dennis. Old dog, no questions. Now that's simple. Now we're going to, I believe, what? Number 8? Oh, no, let's do 7 again. 1E and a 2 and 3E and a 4. Simple. 1E and a 2 and 3E and a 4 and. Number 8, the bass drum falls on E and of 1, E and of 3. 1E and 2 and. But now, watch what I just did. You have to, you know, anybody can go one, they can go like this. 1E and. All right, I didn't use a level with my right hand. This is why you're doing it slow, one of the reasons, okay? And what you need to do is be aware of that down, up. You're getting that nice push. It sounds musical. Okay, so now we're going to go to number 8. 1E and. See that? 1, yeah, 1E and. The 2E and. 3E and 4. Mechanical right now. Get them in place. Once you do these 1,000 times each, you're going to feel loose and comfortable. And everything falls into place. You understand that there, Robert? That's the reason. All right, number 8. Okay, you don't want to go there right away if this is new to you. You want to stay 1E and 2E and 3E and 4. That's practicing, not playing, okay? Now we go to number 9, and the bass drum now falls on the E and the duh of 1, the E and the duh of 3. Nice and easy. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4 and. 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 1 Everybody understand that? We're going to go to number 10. Okay. Now the bass drum on 10 falls on the and of 1 and the and of 3. Now, in Gary Shafee's patterns book, he calls this the fat back exercise. The fat back. It's not fat back. It's a rock pattern, okay, with a backbeat, and you're manipulating the bass drum, or you're playing the bass drum in all sorts of different ways. I don't know why he called it the fat back. No, I'm playing match grip tonight. You could play like this. 1. It don't matter, but what you want to do with this match grip is that it's easier to do this. See, that's the reason why I'm doing match grip. Okay? Now you could hold the sticks, actually, don't laugh, but you could actually hold the sticks like this. It's asinine, but they work. You know, you gotta work with the parameters. Okay, so we're on number 10, the and of 1, the and of 3. 1 E and play, boom. 1 E and 2 and 3 E, 1 E and 2 and 3 E and 4. Now, by doing them as many times as you can, without a mistake, do each line 100 times, 200 times. Feel good with it. Do go to the next one once you feel good with it, not before. Okay? And then when you feel real bold or daring, play from line 1 to line 10. Play each line 2 or 3 times, then move on to number 2, number 3. And you're gonna start to feel it. You're gonna be more comfortable with maneuvering that bass drum around. Now, we'll go to the next line, the next page, which is number 11. Now, before I hit number 11, what I like to do, and you guys know this, it's a loosening up or warm-up exercise for the bass drum, because the bass drum is the one that's really working here, okay? So I set my timer for 3 or 4 minutes, and the metronome's not set up, but whatever tempo you want that's comfortable for you, and I'll sit there and hit this. I'm going to play straight 16ths with my bass drum, and I'm going to play that ostinato pattern. All right, let me just get comfortable. And that was only 15 seconds. Okay, but that's the one that you really want to, you want to do all of them, but the one that you want to do with this particular one, the limb, is the bass drum. You want to get that moving. All right? And by me doing something like that, yeah, it's a warm-up exercise, but it's also an endurance exercise. You know, you're playing your foot. 1 E and the 2 E and. That's moving. So on and so forth. Do you understand that, guys? And Dennis, you got what I understand about match grip or traditional grip? The reason why I'm playing the match grip here is because I'm trying to do it open-handed. We all understand what? Well, you could play the bass drum on 2 and 4. There's no rule about not playing it. All right? It sounds a little flat when you're playing the bass drum and the backbeat on 2 and 4. If I'm playing the bass drum and a backbeat on the count of 2, and I play the backbeat and the bass drum on the count of 4, it sounds flat. No, you don't want to do that. You can, it's not incorrect. That's what I'm doing when I exercise, though. I'm playing that straight 16th notes. There's no stopping 2 and 4 there. It's just going 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, over and over again. Now, we're going to stop. We won't go to 11. You do 1 through 10. Now, besides the workbook, let's hit, okay, the stick control book. I would hit the syncopation book, but it's over on my desk by the other computer. I'm working on it. So let's go to the stick control book, okay? No, well, the only time I really hit that, all right, you're going to see. You have the stick control book, Yosef? Okay, the stick control book. It says cut time. We're going to get into that. Not yet. We're going to play this in 4/4 notes, yes and no. I would like to interpret this right now as the 2 measures, 1 line. It's written 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're going to interpret line 1 as the 2 measures are going to be consolidated into 1, and we're going to think of them in 16ths. 1 E and 2 E and 4 E and. Now here comes one of the answers to your question, Joseph. So you have number 1 in the stick control book. You're referencing off the book as 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. And you eliminate all the lefts, and you're going to have on line 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Now this is for control, and you're telling that bass drum this is what you're going to do against the pattern. So this is the time where you can play the 2 and 4 with the bass drum. 1 E and 2. I eliminate all the lefts, and I'm playing all the rights. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and. It sounds a little crowded on 2 and 4. Does everybody understand how I'm interpreting the bass drum part from line 1 of the stick control book? If you all do, we're going to go to line 2 with the same approach, the same interpretation. Line 2, the bass drum now is going to fall on 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So now we're going to play the same pattern. 3. Now we're counting 16ths. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. You understand that, Troy? Old dog. There's 72 different variations of that bass drum with this pattern. Also, you can make up your own variations. Instead of playing line 1, then going to line 2, then to line 3, you can make it a 2-measure phrase. For example, if I did line 1, after I complete line 1, I go to line 13. Now I just added another one. So 13, line 1 and 13 would be 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. Now 13, 1 E and 2 E and. Or I could play line 1 and go to 14. Line 1, go to 15. Or I could do vice versa, or not vice versa. I could play line 2 and go to 13. Line 2, go to 14. Line 2, go to 15. There's a whole lot of work there. And a lot of fun. Now, the stick control book is my primary source of teaching. The stick control book, in my opinion, has everything you need to know. Everything. All right? Now, getting back to the cut time, because the lesson's almost over. Getting back to the cut time. All right, it's my fault, my mistake, and I am embarrassed. And actually, you would be surprised out of 1 zillion drummers in the world, a half a zillion drummers would interpret cut time as double time. That was my misunderstanding. I was taught that, so I figured that's cut time. But then I analyzed and said, wait a second. Then I did some research, all right? And I talked to some of my well-rounded drummer friends, college graduates of Berkeley, Manhattan School of Music, Juilliard, and there's some nice schools there. And they're more or less classically trained. So last night I must have spent about 3 hours on Skype talking about cut time. Now, if you look up on Google what cut time is, it'll come out, cut time. You'll see it's an Italian word, alla breve. Now, when I play the measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to cut that in half. Not 1 and 2 and, that's doubling the time. When I cut it in half, there's the rules. When you see quarter notes, they become half notes. When you see eighth notes, they become quarter notes. Got it? When you see 16th notes, they become eighth notes. When you see eighth note triplets, they become quarter note triplets. I will definitely make a video with a couple PDF sheets, and you'll see. I will do just one line of cut time. That same line I could refer to it now as double time. You're regressing the notes. Understand? The metronome is what's important with these exercises. If you have a time signature 4/4, that means there's 4 beats to a measure. Each quarter note receives 1 count or 1 beat. If I have 2/2, that means there's 2 beats to a measure and each half note gets a count or a beat. 2/2 is alla breve, that's cut time. We're going to get into that very, very deep with the next video I make. Joseph, don't forget, after the lesson, please, okay, email me. Now, I broadcast Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on this channel, 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, if you're in Spain, well, there's a 5-hour difference. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 12:30 in the morning now, correct? And Troy, I was waiting for your email. You were going to talk to me about the books. I have not received them as yet. Okay, I will be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. We'll review this book, the workbook, with ostinato number 1. Okay, and then from the stick control, ostinato number 1. And then I'm going to add to that ostinato number 1, the syncopation book. Okay. All right. Well, I teach at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the afternoon. Okay, Joseph? It's late. Go to bed. Ha! That's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6-hour difference in Spain. We have them from the Ukraine, Spain, Italy, Mexico, Portugal, Brazil, Canada, California, New Jersey, Chicago. Whoa. That's the beauty of a computer or doing something like this, or Facebook. Everybody is on Facebook or say, well, I woke up this morning with a headache. Who cares? I mean, if you woke up pains in your head and you had to go get an operation, I'm sorry, but I had this for breakfast today. Who cares? I use Facebook, okay, to interact with drummers from all over the world. Now, if I was 17, 18, 19, and 20, and this was available, mercy. All the nice things we could have together. Okay, email me. I'm going to sign out unless anybody has any questions. Troy, I'm expecting an email from you. Any questions? Joseph, merci. Who's that? Mario, gracias. Old dog. Stacy, Paul, thank you. Well, nobody's really familiar with 1/8. You know, if you're a classically trained musician, all right, you want to hear cut time in performance, old dog. Look up Herbie Hancock, okay? Look up Herbie Hancock. And that's when Mike Clark was with him. I forget. It's, I'll send you the video. Halftime is right inside that video. Now, reading charts, yes, you'll see cut time. And it better be cut time coming out if you're being conducted or you're playing in a recording studio. Now, most musicians of different calibers only play cover tunes or play a few jazz tunes, so on and so forth. But yes, it is imperative that you understand what cut time is and double time. You understand that? We all aim to improve, Joseph. We all are on the same journey. At different places, though. I'm going to explain that in the video. Joseph, we're all on the same journey. We're all at different levels, and that's okay. Because some guy's been playing 5 years, some guy's been playing 10 years, 50 years, or whatever, and they're at different levels. But we're all on the same journey. That's to learn as much as we possibly can and become better at what we're doing. It's a simple process. That's you can't let the ego get in the way. Okay? Any questions before I say night-night? Buonanotte. All right, no, Paul, wait a minute. You said it falls apart when you put everything together. All right, we'll take care of that, Joseph. We'll take care of the full strokes, the half strokes. We'll cover that in a few lessons. Just keep coming back. Okay? Anyway, Paul, what's the problem? When you put it all together, well, I have the same problem, so don't feel bad. Okay. What I like to do when I'm doing that, again, 1, 2, I make sure that's in place. And we're going to do number 5. Number 5. Free stroke down. Hear that chick, Paul? I'll play it one time through, then play a time, a feeling of time, and then go back to it. No problem, Joseph. You sure do, Paul. From the first video you sent me to this last one, most definitely improvement. Hoist, you say you're so silent when you're here. That's good, I guess. Ask questions if you have any. Old dog? Your video impressed me. I never saw something in slow motion like that. But if you can, If you're going to do it in slow motion again or in real time, give me a frontal view as opposed to a side view. The frontal view will tell me more. Okay, guys, no questions. It's night time. Matt's going to go get some dinner, do some more writing, take a shower, and go to night. Where did that go? There you go. Okay, guys. 1 o'clock tomorrow. No questions, so I'm off. Marcio, don't forget, either the workbook or the stick control formulas, the PDFs. One is $20 and one is $25. I need that from you. You understand? Okay, guys, have a good night. And we'll see everybody tomorrow.